this angle, and then again into the space, and a brilliant finish, but no challenge in the air. It was a line ball. They should have an extra man back there. No sign of the full back in around the square, and Owen Kelly was unchallenged. So the two of those goals, the defending was poor, and the tactics of Waterford backfired definitely, as far as I'm concerned.
And a further element of that was the short puckouts.
Yeah, I mean, Brendan Cummins maybe over the years has been criticised, and I mean there was big issues about puckouts and maybe driving the ball too long. We're not winning on a half-forward line, and here you see some great passages of play where there were pinpoint passes. Look, I mean, there's every ball I would say today went into hand. It didn't actually. There wasn't much fumbled. And I mean, it's something obviously you just don't come to Croke Park in Ireland semi-final day and adopt this tactic. You have to practice this, and I mean, it worked well from today because they drew the defenders out the feed. Here you see, look, a great passage of play, and like it is still confidence in it because it was working so well. And you're putting the ball out to Paddy Stapleton out in the wing, and he's driving the ball. And when they were driving possession, they were driving it down the wings. They were keeping it away from the main man, which is Brig Walsh in the centre, and that was the key. Win that ball. It'll be
interesting to see what they do now. Kilkenny are obviously going to counter that, and what did they do then? We saw Don Logue against Tip in the first round. Short puckouts that worked brilliantly, but then the next day they were closed down. So it's a different one.
Well, despite the praise we're giving Tipperary tonight, Declan, you say there's still room for improvement in the final.
Yeah, I think Donald O'Grady touched on it in his commentary. I think the biggest fault with Tipperary today was the amount of frees they give away. Time after time. It's the only reason I think that Waterford actually kept in close contact. Again, John Milan, three guys around him, going out towards his own goal, brought down, easy free over the bar. Again, you have the player bottled up on the wing, and, just a rush of blood jumping on top of his back. Again, Stephen Malumphey, there's so many defenders around the modern game that, there was a guy coming in there, Paddy Stapleton, to block him off, but needless fouling. I think it was 8 frees that Waterford knocked over in total today. So against Kilkenny, you just can't afford to give them an 8-point head start and expect to win. And time after time, like again here, just at the end of the match, Tony Brown, again needless free, giving them the chance to put it down, and this actually led to the goal as well. And I suppose from that as well, picking up the Tipperary backs sometimes do let their men slip in behind them, as we see here. Owen McGrath was able to do it. And we refer back to the Galway game again. You see here that the wing forward for Galway gets on a run in behind the Tipperary backs. And again, we all know how good Kilkenny forwards are doing that. Now, Tipperary are very adept at doing it at the other end, but it's where the backs, they'll have to, realise that these guys are going to be running as well, and they'll have to make sure that they're on goal side of them.
It would probably be unfair to wrap this up tonight without acknowledging some of the Waterford players have been there for years and may not be now, Michael.
Well, yeah, you don't know. It's up to every player to decide, but we know Ken McGrath has been carrying a serious knee injury. Tony Brown's been around for 19 years. The likes of Dan Shanahan. These lads have given fantastic service, and if it is their last time in Croke Park, they have done. They've been one of the most entertaining teams to me over the last maybe 10, 15 years, and played some brilliant hurling, especially in Munster.
I think that's the key thing. I mean, they don't know Waterford hurling anything. It is to be the end of the road from probably the one sad thing and disappointing thing that they don't have the All-Ireland medal to show for their efforts over the years, because the last 10 years, 12 years, they've been fantastic for the game of hurling, certainly.
I stress that we're not retiring them. We're not making that call. But just Declan, the nominees for man of the match.
Yeah, I think Dáil came from the Tipperary side today. They really were dominant throughout the field. I think Paul Curran, John O'Brien first, he was 6 points in play coming in, didn't start the last day. I think he really proved a point today. And again, he's surely a shoe-in for a start the next day. And then Paul Curran, full back, was a rock throughout, especially in the first half, when really broke the resistance of the Waterford forwards. Time after time, he set up attacks. He was immense in there. And Noel McGrath, again, as we spoke about him, he came out onto brick, and I think 5 points in play. Very, very mature for a young guy, and 3 exceptional performances.
Okay, it was a split vote. Who gets the award, Michael?
Noel McGrath gets it. I suppose a lot of forwards tend to get it. We were talking about this earlier. Paul Curran had a great game, but to me, Noel McGrath, he's only 19 still. He won't be 20 till December. To go out centre forward in an Ireland semi-final on Brig Walsh, who is the outstanding player on the Waterford team over the last number of years, and basically take him on from the start. It's something I've seen Brian Cody doing with Henry Shefflin over the years, that putting him on the best, maybe key man, and just taking him on and attacking him from the start. But scored some great scores. Took over the long range free taking as well at a crucial stage. Owen Kelly had missed a few, and he stepped up and stuck over 65 in a long range free, 5 points in play, and a great position for a clever hurler like him. A real good stick man, moves left and right into space. So great performance.
Okay, then, well, let's hear then for the man from Lockmore, Castleiney, Noel McGrath.
Des O'Mahony of Centra is going to give Noel his award.
Well done, Noel. Congratulations, Centra. Well done.
Congratulations, Noel. It looked like you enjoyed moving out to centre forward today.
Yeah, I suppose it's grand. Like, I suppose any day you get a place in the team, you're happy. And just thankfully enough, everything ran for me out at centre forward today. And luckily enough, the team came through in the end.
But everybody wondered how Tip were going to break down the influence that Michael Brick-Walsh has. So it was a big task for you going into today.
Yeah, I suppose like Brick is a big player for Waterford, no more than Tony Brown or Ken McGrath when he came on there. Like, but just I suppose every man has a job to do, and thankfully my job worked out well for me today, and the team got through.
Okay, well done to Noel. So it's Kilkenny versus Tipperary in the All-Ireland Senior Hurling Final for 2010 as Kilkenny bid for that elusive 5 in a row.
It's Kilkenny who are the All-Ireland champions for 2009.
Yeah, and full coverage of the final here on RTE2 in 3 weeks' time. We'll be on the air live from 12:30. Right, then we have to get a word about this, and news today of Tommy Walsh getting that shoulder injury in a club game. The last I heard was that he was on his way to Wexford for cryotherapy. He did play on after getting the knock. He was in a collision with Jackie Tyrrell rather, and but he did play on, I'm told. But
so there was some collision.
It would have been some collision, but that's obviously a huge concern.
It is a big concern. Well,
we won't know till tomorrow how it is.
If Tommy Walsh and Henry Shefflin, I don't care how good you are, if you're missing two players of that calibre, certainly be a significant weakness. But we don't know at this stage. I haven't changed my mind on Kilkenny. I think they're still the favourites, and rightly so. But Tipperary are improving at the right time of the year. They did the same last year, but I think Kilkenny are stronger than last year.
Kilkenny are everyone's favourites, I suppose, just to park that. But is it reasonable for us to expect this year's final to be as good as last year's?
Yes, it is, even though Kilkenny probably have raised the bar further themselves by their performances this year. I mean, they've introduced an awful lot of new blood into the team as well. They've freshened up their panel, they've freshened up their squad. There is more intense competition for places there, right? And you hear about all the matches and behind the scenes and the injuries they're picking up, and it is because these games are training sessions and these games are so competitive, because guys, there's a lot at stake there. Guys going for their 8 All-Ireland medals that mightn't even get on the selection. But I think at the end of the day, though, Des, right, that Tipperary will look at it, and they probably have looked at the All-Ireland final from last year, and they say, that yeah, we were in stages in that game, okay, Kilkenny were pulling away from us, but we got ourselves back into the match. We matched them on a physical nature, which was the important thing, which most teams haven't been able to do with Kilkenny's. They were able to stand shoulder to shoulder with them, or for 50-50 ball, and win a lot of those battles as well. They showed today and against Galway that they certainly have a lot of talent up front. They have some very good scoring forwards. So I think it's not as clear-cut at this stage as I would think people are making out to be. But you probably would say, yeah, Kilkenny will win it at the end of the day. But I think Tip, going home tonight, going down to the train or going to the bus, the tourists will be saying to themselves, lads, this is one that we can win.
And it'll add to the whole occasion, Declan, because everybody from Kilkenny will want to be there for the history element of it, the 5 in a row, and everybody from Tip will be dying to stop Kilkenny.
It. Yeah, well, that's it. It's going to be a fantastic final. I think every bit as good as last year's, and it's really something to look forward to. And you're dead right. I mean, people are probably talking about the 5 in a row as nearly being done at this stage. And I mean, any man in the Tipperary jersey is going to step back there tomorrow and say, well, hold on there now. We're a good team, and maybe if we had taken our chances last year, we could have won. So I'd say, yeah, they're coming right at the right time as well. I've a sneaking suspicion for Tip. Kilkenny rightly are favourites, but I think Tip will.
Come on, Declan.
Book the train.
No offence.
Seamus Darby has a pub in Toomevara. Maybe to get him to come on for the last few minutes.
well, there are similarities, of course, with that 82 football final. All right, for now, thank you, lads. Well, Kilkenny, of course, also await the winners of today's minor semi-final. It's all the Munster champions Clare take on Dublin. Let's join Donal and Micheál O'Shea.
Tony Kelly, Count Bia Fada Bultiga Tony, Rutras and Niall Arthur, and Son agus Jechentlish, Emmett McKenna, on Vertical Koruk, on Schlitteriga Niall Arthur, Idalov, Wilte Mach Gadasson Sonige, agus Kayog Sheriff and Son, Tony Kelly, Stacha John Hole, Anna Erich Bultiga Tony, agus Colleen Anna Yassen Son, the Huntech Loy. Eamon Dillon. Mach Richten so, I say, Dirk Kahal Malone, Dirk Glen Wheel and Raimshu, Nelly Uwe, I Doldo and Baltasa, I guess Shana Mori, and he had Nile Arthur, Gualamahansa, Nile Arthur, a Dirk Scopian of the Hen, Count Gloter Fad, and son, and see you paint son again, Nile Arthur. Colm Galvin, is Shelly Clitted. Colm macht lässige Sahne, Skillen, Sonnige, Kiran, Kilkenny, Hantarna Chancige, Colm, Count Moore, Father, Wiltige, Agus Richtach, and so touch Collins, Chancige Pike, Jawasha Cool, Chancige Kuntach, the whole of I'm Sugar's cool, get Dara Kane, and son. And we have point to Davian Hansen Hooligan. Shach point to Atrach, Shahunish, Glen Wheel in the Baltus at Wallistach, Chancige Glen, Emil the Carnoige, Chance Fosen, so I get Emito Canela. Emmett O'Connell, agus an pointe fachta ag Emmett O'Connell, pointe táchtach an san dá clia. The mo, godas dá clia an so, ag Darren Kelly. Darren Kelly, stachat John Tevline, I'm stig, riestige Glen Whelan, Count Morar, the stachat Anna pointe Glen Whelan. I say, give it to me. Orma Costello, when it counts up, a Hogan, dog clear, all in the green counts of Irish Drasnan. Ah, built a good gloater father again, Meshe Father Rohin, Nivek, sorry, stick a smash call, it's again Emmett O'Connell, far in Ishmael, no in Ishmael ahead. Only in time, I'm sure he gave a shin cold, and the canoe noch dog clear. Colm Galvin is stachen so, goodie. David O'Halloran is stachen John Moon, maar door Slaune. Als je prachtige stig en zo. Wel, als je bent terug in Nile Arthur, die leen waar door de stigen is, kan die aan de Nile, toerchef, die Bert de Kalnigus en Tale, Danny Sutcliffe, Eamon Dillon, Atronson. Nisha Maguire. Nisha Cowan Moore, the holding oig, sticking him on the car, noig and Ardelo, Chance Fosen, so I get Cormac Costello, and a hole like a Cormac Costello, Agus and Lasser Savannah finish again. Gwysig o boed ys pwynt yn loder nach cool an y cynwn sy'n y hwnnw.
Wel, ni waan gref se cynwn y gwach, fi sian y cysg kom am ar de cap bron yn taf gref se con e fwrdd stag di yn de cwniele, just hwg se cem ar iesyn sy'n agos de cwyr caslo stag se cwni ar iesyn sy'n anna cool gydo ba he.
Niall Ryan, o machad so, Ciaran Kilkenny, cawn eisiau Cruig, Carish y dras na hon at son. Gapus grib si hawn y hwnnw.
Wel, da meek se bekani ni sisle.
Robert Hardy.
Beek se meek se stik se lien tanen son, but anna fulle go Johnson.
Robert Hardy li on se. Sinead Robert Hardy, Tarek de Gaunson, agus anna chiawn yr fad hiach. Wyl sy'n pwlo agus Arish y dras na hon. Mar sy'n ein pwynt y foen idir na ffwrne. Agus yn dawn o mat y chadig yn reit oed y stig. O lahar na hwyde, ond nadog shetig yn reit oed. Agus y sydd cwntach laud i fi gytwr daig yn Cylchwynig. Yn sgôr yn so, ffordd gychrwcig, fihe pwynti i ga cwntach laud, agus do y tridiag i a clear.
We had a bad start. Once we got back into it, like, you know, it was coming and going the whole time. And very, very disappointed because, you know, we were that close, you know.
But Dublin are a good team, didn't get to the Leinster final for nothing. Like, they beat Wexford, who were most people's fancies early on the year, well, mine including. And so we knew it was never comfortable out there, to be honest. But I know we were always in front by a few points, but like, that wasn't the story of the game. They were still well there. Like, as you saw, the last shot hit the post that had gone in, we wouldn't be here now.
Yeah, great win for Clare. Good battle by Dublin. Was a deserved win. Yeah,
I think so. I think, you know, overall they had a better score in return. I think from their two midfielders, 6 forwards, and one of their subs all scored from play, whereas Dublin, you know, relied on maybe Ciaran Kilkenny and Costello in the corner. You know, and they got a couple of goals sort of against the run of play, but Clare were able to come back and knock over. And 20 points is a very respectable return. But you know, they left Dublin in the game. That'll be a worry to them because obviously Kilkenny very impressive in the semi-final. So, you know, still a good win for them, and Dublin will be disappointed. But a good revival. Tomas was just saying there a few minutes ago off air. You know, under 21s win the All-Ireland minors in the final now, so it's good for Clare hurling. There seems to be a a lot of work going in at underage level there, and it's paying off.
I thought you were talking about the Dublin 21s and minors.
No, they're going okay
they're in the
too.
semi-final, yeah. All right, thank you for that, Michael. Competition time for you now, and we've teamed